Anybody can own the West.
Anybody can own the West? I'm not asking you what's logically possible. Who could own the West? Yeah, some fucking ants could evolve and own the West. Who owns it now?
That motherfucker talking about the Jew.
Oh, are you a Nazbol or are you a
I'm
national
asking you
socialist?
one question. Do you not know?
Basically, anybody with old Western values, such that stem from Roman.
In virtue of what? Huh?
I'm sorry. Where are
What?
you
Define
getting?
own.
So, okay, when you say own, what do you mean by own the West?
Are you unfamiliar with the phrase? Do you think who
Well, look,
owns a
no,
house
well,
is just,
hold
you
on.
know, the guy who
Ben,
thinks it's the prettiest
he,
house?
he said if you're a proud boy, you could own the West, right?
No, I did not say that.
Oh, okay. That
Are
all right?
you interested in owning the West?
I'm gonna start the boys, and then the boys join them. Then you pass.
Maybe try this. Are you interested in owning the West?
I didn't say any. Basically, what we mean by Western culture is equated to Western civilization and the Western world, Western
So
society, European civilization.
it's not really about where you reside. Like we can ship you off to the east, maybe. Do I have it right?
No, basically,
You don't
it is a
particularly
term.
care about the West.
I do care about the West.
Then why aren't you interested in owning the West?
I do believe that European civilization and the heritage of European civilization should be held, and its ethical value should be held as well. Traditional customs,
You're
belief
dodging the
systems.
question.
I'm not dodging the question. I am telling you straight out.
Straight out, what? Are you interested in owning the West?
When you do say own the West, do you mean taking over all Western culture? Or do you mean taking over all the Western Hemisphere?
What would it mean to own a culture?
A culture that has stemmed and has started. Basically, when you do look at Western culture, it usually means American or European culture.
Okay, and you're really into the Western culture, that's it?
Correct.
Okay, so the Western culture, ship your ass off to the East. That's fine. This is still the ideal world for you.
When you say ship myself off to the East, do you mean Asia
I
or do
ship
you
you
mean...
off. What? I move your physical body. What's so fucking confusing to you?
Okay, you didn't explain physical body.
What else would I be shipping, sir?
Okay, continue.
Is that still the ideal world for you?
The East is not the ideal world. No,
Why is that?
because the West
Is that because you
has...
care about owning the West?
Because I believe in Western values, such as a cornerstone throughout the
The
beginning of
Western
nation
values can
builders.
exist in the East, dumbass.
I do understand that, but
So why is that a response to my question, sir?
you can be in the East and you can believe in Western values.
Right.
Yes.
If by Western values do you mean Western European values?
Usually, Usually Western European values, yes, such as
Okay, why aren't you
the
living in Western Europe?
Renaissance. It's not only in Europe, it's also in America that was brought over by Europe to the United States.
Yeah,
Such
but if
as
isn't the idea if you don't like that United States is shifting from a Western European culture to some other set or mixture of cultures, that if you really liked the Western European culture, that you would actually just move to Western Europe instead of staying in America?
I wouldn't do it at this time because right now it's turning into Aloha Snack Bar,
Oh,
Rape
okay.
Culture
So you
Fest.
don't like
Yeah,
Western European values.
not Western European values. I just do not like the state
Well,
that Western Europe is in currently.
you should go there and help them fight it instead of fighting for Western Europe to move itself to America or something.
The values of
There's
Western
no
Europe.
guarantee that it would just shift to America and live on America if it stopped existing where it originated. Because then the default position people would think of when they think about Western European culture is how it became what you're not liking about it.
The
Right.
reason why why Western Europe has become the way it is because of socialism, Marxism, and cultural
Okay,
mark.
and you should fight I don't know, socialism and Marxism and stuff in Western Europe.
I'm finding it here in the United States so we don't end up like current Western
Why
Europe right now.
why wouldn't you fight where the issues are happening at the actual source of the place where the culture originates? Why would you let it die where it was born?
I
Yeah,
was born.
you're losing one battle and you're saying like I'm
If
just gonna
it's your
move over to
ultimate
this other
commitment,
shit.
then you should move to Western Europe.
Right? You want to own the land. If you're just interested in owning the ideas, well, here's a fucking big idea, bud. You can't not own the ideas.
Look, did you see that Ron Paul tweet like a week ago that he got like super embarrassed after he posted? Say to yourself, I can't believe people would criticize this man. I'm gonna fight for the culture by, staying in America and like fighting the bad guys over here because they're full or something. Do you know what they're full of? Not like why you're white nationalist or Proud Boy?
Proud Boy is not a white nationalist organization. We do believe in the idea of Western chauvinism again.
You should
Now,
make OG meme magic from like a western, like the west coast of Spain on the beach, you know, staying in a 10 out of 10 model, of course. Everyone does some sort of modeling over there. Just fight for your
Has
culture.
has the name Proud Boys been thoroughly investigated?
Antifa is being investigated by the FBI.
No. I mean,
See?
the fact that
That's
you've
right.
called yourself Proud Boys, right? I mean, listen, I didn't catch the beginning of the conversation, but the second you said Proud Boys, what are you, a fucking stripper troupe? Magic fucking Mike Triple XL, Proud fucking Boys?
It seems like
Are
a
you
marketing
fucking
fail.
gay?
Well, I think you're onto something like
No,
and like a way, Ray.
Proud
What are you
Boys
fucking
are
proud of?
we're proud of Western chauvinism. Basically,
Oh, so you are gay?
no, we are not gay. We are not
You're
homosexual.
called the Proud Boys.
Yeah, because we're proud to be a Western chauvinist. We are proud
Are
to
you on
be an
Grinder?
American. No, I do not.
It is. It sounds like a group on Grinder. It sounds like a Grinder subreddit. The Proud
should.
Boys.
Yeah, you should advertise on Grinder.
Have you not been listening to what our values are?
I can't get
Guys?
over the Proud Boys name. Listen, that's like a fucking
Wait,
flashbang going
what?
off in my face. Until the dust
Look,
settles in my mind that you've called yourself Proud Boys, I
Grinder
can't get past that.
Grinder
It
actually
is-
isn't
I did not
really
make the name
super
of Proud
useful for gay
Boys.
stuff. It's more
Dude's name is
useful for like
Pro-
networking, honestly.
So you're
I think
gay?
there's a really good business model on your hands here. Weren't
I just came into
potentially
the
aware of.
conversation. The one
You
I've heard
take
so
you can
far
take advantage
is
of
the
it.
name Pride Boy, and all I can think of is that you guys are a group of gay people that go
Jovan,
around different
this
bars.
gentleman told me that by advocating Western values, he actually meant like the promotion of Western European values. But Western European
Old
values aren't too hot at
European
the moment.
values
So
from the Renaissance.
Yeah, that's retarded.
instead
Why?
of fighting for the values by moving to Western Europe, I'd rather stay and fight for them in America
Is that
because
the?
of
Is that guy the
neo-Marxism and
same?
Jewry and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all. I heard some of that, but that's all retarded. What
I mean,
is
it's
that dude
just
actually one of the Pride Boys in the picture?
He's got a tattoo.
for that stash.
I'm asking
Beautiful.
Haddon. Is that actually one of your members?
Are Pride Boys required to test like 99% purity?
What's up with his mustache?
Proud Boys, you have to basically go through 3 degrees.
Are Proud Boys MGTOWs?
Free what?
No, we're not MGTOWs. We do not like MGTOWs. We
What are the
actually,
3 things? Wait, what are the 3 things you have to go through?
first is you have to say that you're a Western chauvinist and you will not apologize for creating the modern world. And then the second one is you have to, which is your second degree, you have to get beat up by 5 guys until you make 5 different breakfast
Oh,
cereals.
the breakfast cereals, beautiful. I saw that.
Wait,
That's really
wait,
cool,
what do
actually.
you have to get beat? You have to get beat off
got
by
beat?
5 guys.
No way.
Wow, I did not know.
I think he
you
misspoke.
had-
He said beat up.
You
Wow,
get beat up by 5 guys with breakfast cereal?
You know,
No,
that's
you
the same
have to-
initiation that like college gangs
Chum,
have.
let him. I don't hear what he's saying. Let him. I don't know.
He
What he's
keeps
saying.
on cutting out.
Yeah,
Sorry, not
that's because
college.
everybody's. Yeah. But and then the third degree is you have to quit porn and.
No,
get a
I don't
tattoo.
know what you said about beating somebody with cereal. What'd you say?
Okay, you have to get beat up by 5 guys until you.
You know,
name
like
5
that
different-
scene in.
God damn! Can we
Just
let him
finish
finish?
the fucking sentence.
Go ahead.
Yep. So you get beat up by 5 guys until you name 5 different breakfast cereals.
What
That
the
doesn't make
fuck?
any sense. That makes 0 sense.
What if you name them 5 real quick?
Some people do, some people don't. But when you're getting punched by 5 different guys, and get gut punched like I did, then it's really hard to focus.
That is so stupid.
Does oatmeal count?
Why would you
No.
get beat up? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's literally
It's a club
it's
thing.
it sounds like a ritual to worship American Cereal Corporation.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Who's allowed in the club?
Why would you make that?
Males.
What's
Basically
the
men.
point of that?
Any man? Like,
Yeah, when I
What?
read that, I like kind of joked about it in my head that it was like for
how can someone from the,
So, we're gonna hold you
the
down and
next
shove a
time you see
broomstick up
mini
your
wheats,
ass.
you're gonna
Ho, ho, ho.
fucking get trauma.
how can someone from the East be proud of creating the West?
What's the 3rd degree? What do you have to do? Eat someone's shit from their asshole? I mean, how gay
No,
are
that-
you going to get with it?
That's Antifa. Basically, the third degree is you have to get a tattoo and you have to quit porn.
What tattoo did you get?
I haven't gotten one yet, but I got a couple of them on my arm right now as we speak. But
Did
I'll
you
get
quit
another one.
porn?
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Like,
Yes, I did.
fuck did you? You fucking
You
jerked off
lying
today.
piece of shit.
Wait, what are we talking about?
How are they going to check?
You get
Who
one.
asked what we're talking about?
Yeah,
You get
me,
one
dude.
wink a month, but I don't use it.
You
I
can
wonder
tell
why
me.
no one takes you fucking seriously.
What?
This
How
is
do they
literally-
regulate that?
Why would you not? Why?
They don't regulate you. They actually expect you to actually, stop watching porn.
Why can't you beat off the porn?
Dude, porn is bad for you.
It is the well, that's a claim, but is the point of these initiations, like, is it a joke? Like, you're trying to keep this like jovial, like this is like, what's the point?
Basically, our group wants to promote many things such as no political correctness, end the drug war, close the borders, no more race guilt, pro free speech, pro
How does that have
Second
anything
Amendment.
to do with beating the shit out of each other?
Basically, it's to help you focus in case if you get your ass kicked or almost get your ass kicked by Antifa.
Yo,
I-
so how close are you to being groomed by one of the leaders?
Oh.
Because what it sounds like is it sounds like you're about to be fucked by an older adult male that's trying to groom young impressionable boys, right? Get a fucking tattoo, do what I say.
was-
Oh, let me beat you off with some cereal. You're fucking. It's man, this is gay as fuck. You're called the Pride Boys. Pride Boys.
Hadn't come out.
Proud.
Can you finish the rest of the
That's the
platform?
Pride
This
you
is
Boys.
all
started?
gay as shit.
I want to hear the platform, please.
I told you
And,
you were scared of Antifa. You're training
then-
for them.
Can we let him? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. We glorify the entrepreneur, we venerate the housewife, and reinstate a spirit of Western chauvinism. Basically, we want more family values. We want more men to get married and have kids and bring back the nuclear family. You ever heard of the nuclear family?
No, you don't want more men. You want more white men.
Whether white or black, we do have black members in our organization.
Oh wait, you're not
We
a
don't need more people on this planet.
so you're not a white nationalist.
No,
You're not alt-right.
no.
Then what are you? Are you MGTOW?
He's like doing the
No.
meme where like there's a political spectrum and there's like fucking 20 names of different shits in a row, and someone's like using like colloquial usage of a word, and then he's thinking in his mind like, no,
Is he
Funny.
MGTOW?
right?
No, sir.
Hadenkoff,
Are you incel?
I'm Casmadul.
you're
What's that?
Casmadul.
Casmadul. What's that?
Yes.
That's a
Yeah,
wizard's
just-
name. He's very powerful.
That's his stripper name when the Proud Boys go down the strip, and fat, overweight, humongouloid women throw ones into his fucking pouch. Fucking Proud Boys. God, you feel embarrassed for being Gavin McInnes's fucking shill. You know what? You know Gavin McInnes is laughing on the other fucking side of his face at you, right? This is all just so he can
He's-
sell another book. This is all just so he can get
Sells
another hour or
coffee.
two on a shitty radio show, man.
Right?
You're a fuck. You've been bent
Supplements,
over and fucked. by him.
Vitamins.
Didn't Gavin
Wow,
McInnes
Ray.
get beat up with celery?
Well, Ray, you gotta think
Survival
about
packs.
this.
Eat for 100
Gavin
meals.
Gavin McInnes is left as fuck. What are you talking about? Gavin McInnes is the most left. He's pulling everyone's leg. You dumb fuck. Have you read anything about him? Do you know anything about his childhood? All of that shit that he pulls on TV is to coax idiots like you, right, into buying another one of his stupid fucking books. Do you know the history of Vice? Do you know how left that motherfucker is?
What? He was left, but
Oh yeah, he ejected all that because he lost Vice. No, because he saw money. He's a fan of money. There's just another thing like Milo. What's his name? Fucking Milo does. They're just failed shock jock radios, buddy, and you're falling for it.
He made out with Milo.
well, Ray, I have to give you credit to come up with this whole ideology and to come up with this whole slander that you have definitely come up with.
Slander.
But however, when you do mention the whole sexual appeal that you think Proud Boys have, when the truth is that is not really true, you have to think to yourself, when you easily just thought of it, do you yourself have any of these wet dreams when you do?
You keep on breaking up, but yeah, buddy, whatever you're saying, if you're going on the gay angle, I'm gay as fuck. Mate, listen, I've sucked cocks harder than all of your little fucking black shirt wearing faggot friends, mate. Listen, I'm fine with it, right? But whatever you think you've got in the tank, let's go there, buddy.
Sorry, dude, I'm straight, but thanks for the offer.
You're not straight. You're part of a group of idiots that shill for Gavin McInnes called Proud Boys. You're the opposite of straight.
You don't use the one allotted jerk off per month, guy. Come on.
The whole
So-
point
Wait,
is the group's a parody
Is he an
group, right?
actual Proud Boy? Is he?
He doesn't understand
yeah.
that it's a parody group.
Well, did McInnes found Proud Boy fund Proud Proud Boys?
Yeah,
he
it's-
found
it's-
it. He founded
He
it.
did it.
Okay.
He did it so more people would look at him and he could sell more books and appear on more TV shows.
This
You know
is pathetic.
Do we know if McGinnis got beat up with cereal?
Proud Boys get beat up all the time. They're
But-
such
but
a
guess-
bunch of losers.
What if McGinnis
Actually,
had like
Proud Boys kick more Antifa ass than
some
anything
kind of like
else.
childhood
Oh.
repressed memory about like frosted flakes? Like, there's a 4chan meme. Oh fuck! What if the fucking like the tantric initiation, like beat up session, actually like to satiate like a deep repressed memory he has, but or it could be like connection to the 4chan that story I sent you, Ray. Like he fucks multiple bowls of cereal.
Right,
the
that's
story.
it. That's what he wants. He's essentially trying to get that to be the norm. Listen,
Cheerios,
Gavin McGinnis,
cornflakes.
Gavin
Like-
McGinnis, if this idea about not masturbating, right? Gavin McGinnis, in his book, right, in one of his books, writes a story about how he reinfected himself with chlamydia by swallowing his own cum, right? If you don't understand that for Gavin McGinnis, all of this is just a joke, all of this is just another way for him to make money, then do some more fucking research, right? Read between the fucking lines and realize that the guy's just a wannabe comedian. That's it, right? And he's a good writer and he is funny, right? But if you think
Dude, that's
that
why
this isn't the way to make fucking money, you fucking idiot. And this
anytime
Proud
somebody
Boys,
links Louder with Crowder, that's exactly what my first thought. Failed comedian realized you can make a fuckload of money by advertising to like fucking right-wing kids in their teens that are like growing up in some like breast democratic city or something. Then they tell them that it's not like really the city's fault or like your fault, it's like the Democrats' fault. And, like, the Democrats are at fault because they love non-Western values, or they're Jews or something like that. Like, and you just end up getting into like, because like everything that you mentioned is like a label that comes with like certain set of assumptions. Like each of those assumptions is like something which like you haven't individually thought through like 100% all the way. Like people growing up are like super susceptible to getting just uh like convinced into like believing truths founded on like an entire story with like some fucking fallacy or like factual incorrection or like statistical slant or like something like that. It was probably you probably voted Trump, right?
I did.
Okay. I actually didn't vote, but I'm actually glad that Hillary didn't win. But it's like some dude in here earlier was mentioning, oh, job growth's gone up under Trump. And I like went and looked at sources like the economy and stuff and found that the wage growth has been up by between 2 and 3% for like the last 10 years. I don't know, I couldn't find anything else, but I try to keep up with politics and stuff. It's like tough running into like people to talk to about that kind of thing because every single time it starts, 98% of the time ends up with people fucking yelling at each other, whining at each other, expectation please, like that kind of thing.
Basically, centerists are more likely to yell at people for this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple
You see the
people.
tell me about the Supreme Court nomination. I haven't followed like that being in
I think I can't remember his name,
names like
but
Barry or something like Barry.
yeah, I think so. Poll was
Bukakke or
actually, yeah,
Lee.
4chan Poll was actually celebrating that shit, and it was hilarious to see a lot
Oh.
of leftists. So,
Well, do you know about him? I don't care about like
Um,
the celebration or whatever.
basically, what's going on is that that's actually a pretty good meme, Breezy. It's actually quite true about centerists. But anyway, back to the subject of the Supreme Court. I do know that he was hired by George W. Bush Jr.
Okay. That you don't know like how he feels about different issues or like his compass or anything.
I know he's a very pro Second Amendment type of person, which I'm all for because I want the NFA repealed as fast as possible.
So what repealed?
NFA, National Firearms Act.
I don't know anything about the NFA, but
National
just
Firearms
think-
Act basically says you cannot own a machine gun without a Class 3 license, or own explosives, or short-barreled shotguns.
yeah, I mean, like, like,
I-
what are you gonna do with explosives? Blow up rocks? You're living in like an urban environment. No.
Hey, dude, maybe somebody just wants to have a bunch of claymores in their house.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Well,
minefields
no,
inside.
that's not an answer, right? That could be an
that's
answer for
against
But
the
it's
absolutely
law.
not
anything.
like if the cops try to come to your house because they need to like,
I want to
follow
have
up
them
with a
have to go through a
warrant or like
minefield.
anything like that. Why the fuck is there gonna be a minefield for the cops? Like,
The minefield for anybody who's trespassing, Dom.
it's not
Yeah,
like
exactly.
fucking like
That's-
Minesweeper or
you
something where
can't-
like
You
people
can't
are just
booby
gonna
trap
kill you
your
unless you have a
property.
minefield around you.
It's against the law. You can't booby trap your property. It's against the law.
Basically,
I mean, if you have a bunch of claymores in your mines in your yard, I don't think you're really following the law anyway. So I mean,
Cody,
Yeah.
Cody, your mic sounds horrible.
all
Cody,
right.
you sound like a fucking idiot. Maybe you should fix that.
and that's for twofold. One, your mic sounds fucking stupid. And two, you're not funny. So let's just wait. Let's just let Hada Kinov continue his.
Kaz, my name's Kaz. Cool.
I don't care what your fucking name is.
Hey, welcome, Kaz.
Thank you. So basically, yes, if the NFA is repealed, then these are the things you can buy: machine guns, submachine guns.
How would that improve your
Explosives.
life? How would the explosives improve your life?
Well, if government can own it, I should have the right to own it too.
No. How would it improve your life?
Well,
Having a grenade, like a
Yeah.
soccer bag full of grenades, like improve your quality
a
of
rocket
life.
launcher, right?
Keep a bunch of TNT in your freezer for
Yeah.
optimum control, right? I mean, that's what you do. But why would you need what are you missing out on in life?
How about you request the government that could, to make you like a fucking 5x5 garden that grows you food for every like vegetables for your entire week. You don't have to fucking spend, I don't know, $20 a week on vegetables.
Right. And also, do you know what's else is crazy? Government actually will kick down your door if you do sell raw milk.
Well,
Literally.
hold on. Let's don't
Raw
worry too
milk?
much about the carrots, right? But worry
He's
about
talking about the pasteurized milk people
Yeah,
who
we're-
throw a fit because they have to clean their milk, and they have
I have no idea about that
CPS
story.
come in and take their kids because they're giving them really shitty milk that makes them sick and die. Yeah, let's unpasteurize our milk again, guys.
Yo, can we have a dirty tap water pumped in our house, please? Can we get a repeal on the clean drinking water? I don't want the
Only
government to
cut
regulate.
down the national forests for wood, but it's like American
Can you-
wood, so it's okay.
Right, exactly. Can you fill our guts with rancid bacterial infections so we're in a constant state of between being bloated and shitting yourself for hours on the toilet? So back
Let's
to the
have
TNT,
vegetarian.
right? So how would your life
Let's
be
have
quantifiably different if you had access to Semtex, TNT, C4?
Basically, as Thomas Jefferson once said, if the people fear the government, then there is tyranny. If the government fear the people, there is a liberty.
What?
Yeah, your little bit of explosive is really going to bother the government, isn't it?
Well, I
I
mean,
think that
his
government is the
idea-
most.
the idea is once he owns the grenades, he'd have like wet dreams monthly about him like going into like his post office, like a satchel charge and screaming, "Give me liberty or death." Right.
Now,
Funny.
Terrifying.
work through this with me for a bit. What you said your name was Kaz, right? You can have all that stuff. Let's say for argument, I grant you that, right? But all of it has to be hot pink, right? You can have as many machine guns as you want, whatever. Blow your fucking own foot off with some badly managed explosives that you have no idea how to handle.
Yeah, reason.
But they have to be hot pink. Are you okay with that?
Why would they have to be a hot pink?
Doesn't matter. They just have to be.
They just have to be. Well, that's bullshit.
It would work, Ray. You're so right.
No,
Credit goes to Tom for that one, not me. But Why would it be
Holy
bullshit?
shit!
Yeah, why would it be bullshit?
Well,
It's well known
first,
in military circles that
off-
pink makes your bullet go squint.
well, here's the thing: you have the right to own that weapon or you don't. If the government says you cannot do this with this item that you have purchased and that you own, either you fully own it or you have government knowing that you do own it.
Okay, but
And-
let's say you own it, but it has to be the color pink.
Hot pink.
Hot pink, hot neon pink, bitch. What do you think about
After
that?
after
I'll
10
fucking
guns,
take it, dog.
all your
If
guns
somebody-
have, or like after 5 guns, you have to like start going on like a rainbow of colors. Got the pink, and then it stayed pink.
Now here's
Do
the
you
deal.
think somebody cares that much about the color of their gun?
Let me just
But he just
say
said
why I
he
find
wouldn't
your.
fucking have the
Leave the
gun anywhere
guns
near him
alone.
if
Yeah,
it was
so-
pink.
Let me just explain something because that seems strange, right? That you just seem displeased with this, right? In the
Well-
hypothetical, because the TNT would be just as effective. The guns would
Yeah,
be just as
the-
effective. So you could fight any tyrannical government exactly the same, except these things would be hot pink. Now, what's your objection? Because you said you wanted these things, right? For no personal reasons. You said I asked you how would your life improve, right? And you said you couldn't answer that. You went on about the government, right?
Freedom.
So this is freedom, right? How does
Yeah,
the
freedom.
color of your weapons being hot pink stop the tyrannical government from you being able to stop them? How does it? Is the Semtex
Well, how
going
does
to be
it-
different?
Even more so, how does it limit you from like stopping the tyrannical government?
Now here's the thing: it does not fully limit it, but however, government still having the idea or still having control over what your item is still tyranny. Basically, you
The government's
own-
guns are all pink now too, as well. So it's equal.
I don't want equality. if I want a machine gun, I want it paint a different color. If I want a red, white, and blue AR-15 that's fully automatic, I should have the right to do that.
Why?
False.
Yeah, he's just saying that. It
Wait,
would
hold
give
on.
him,
I
like,
thought the
tangible
main reason you
protection.
wanted it was so you could defend yourself and stuff.
Not only that, but it is your property. It should be yours once you purchase it.
Oh, it's yours.
Yeah, it is
Oh, no, you
mine.
still
but-
own it, buddy. Don't worry, you're not renting it. It's yours.
Hey
Yes,
Ray,
but-
can I own a biological weapon so long as it's hot pink?
Yeah, go nuts.
Yeah, you can have
Awesome.
you can have your tactical strike nuke, but that thing is gonna be pink, hot pink. That
Awesome.
warhead is gonna be hot pink.
Yeah, he
Well,
wants
I'm all
the
down for it
Frosted
then.
Flakes light blue themed nuclear weapon with matching remote.
Can we have like a special edition where it's like multicolored hot pink, where it's like soft pink, hot pink, light pink?
What's this guy's?
I mean, technically, he can own all these things. He just doesn't qualify for the permits because you're probably a piece of shit that the government doesn't trust.
Why do you think that you should have the right to bear arms?
It's any God-given rights.
So if your
Right to
arms are
self-defense.
hot, if your arms are hot pink, then that's not been violated at all, has it?
The government is still telling you what to do with an item
The
that is
right
your property.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep and bear
The,
arms.
the government
Doesn't
does that. They
say
usually
what
take
arms or,
the
like, the
form of what we
description.
call laws.
Right,
Do you
and
think? do
that's
you
why
think
we
the
have
go-
to.
that your Do you think your God-given rights are unlimited?
Basically, your rights are simple. You have a right to live. You
That's
basically.
not what I asked. I asked if you think it's unlimited.
Yes, absolutely. As long as it doesn't harm anybody else, you have unlimited
Wait a
amount of
second.
right.
How does
It's
your
unlimited
pink gun harm anyone?
Yeah, I mean the question
It-
is what qualifies as harm. Do you think like having your gun get a paint job that like you didn't pick is harmful to you?
No, it is not harmful, but however, the idea that government can choose what to do with your item is basically still government control. Now, when you do have, let's say, a gun or any item that you want,
Want to
and you
abolish
decide,
the Second Amendment, right?
no, I never
Oh.
said that.
Well, if you did, then you could have that. Like there wouldn't be
Hey.
any problem or any argument like anywhere anyone could give you, because you'd have
Hey,
like a machine gun to keep them at least like 5,000, miles from your property, or you'd hit them with the recreational nuke and all.
Hey Kaz, in your understanding, can I keep just as long as I purchase them, can I keep vials of smallpox in my garage?
Smallpox is already curable and nearly extinct, so go right ahead.
There's
Why are you trying to
there's
make this
only
about
Yeah,
you,
you'll
Cassie?
just
God
create the
damn.
demand for the
I
vaccine,
think you meant
and then
can
your friend owns
anthrax.
the local
Anthrax, I
can
think you meant
RX
there.
store.
so long as I can purchase the equipment, can I weaponize Ebola?
Kathleen,
You
can we
can-
please pick on the
Sure,
Proud
go right
Boys?
ahead. But don't expect
But
people not to rebel against you.
Do you value
but
weapons
I'm not
for?
harming anyone.
Do you value
As
weapons
long
for
as
their
you're not harming
utility?
anyone, then you're totally fine.
Do you value weapons for their utility, or because of how cool they make you look in your selfies?
I say both.
You value how? Wow, you're a tactifag?
I say I browse K a lot, and also I do browse
your
the...
So you
worthless.
like fetishize weapons and stuff. You're a tactifag.
Wait, do you even have your own weapon?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What have
And
you
also,
got? What have you
What
got?
No, he doesn't.
I have a 1942 Mosin Nagant. I have a Heritage Rough Rider 22 long rifle revolver. I do
Alright.
also...
Oh, I'm also curious. Do you play Girls Frontline, like that mobile game with like the waifus guns between their large animated breasts?
Wait, dude, there's actually a game like that?
Yeah, it's
You're
called
gonna.
Girls Frontline. They should already be like advertising to you on Facebook, but obviously you didn't opt into advertisements because Zuckerberg is a Jew or something.
Yeah, he's kind of a kike
Yeah,
that way.
and the founder of Google is also a Marxist, and he wants to take over and have one world government.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I'm
heck yeah.
fully...
One world government.
I'm against one world government.
Well, of
Do you
course you are,
think that
because you don't have your Jew card.
Did you say we have Mosin Nagant?
There's
I'm
a
sorry.
yeah, there's a waifu with literally a Mosin Nagant.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the
Did you
problem...
did you buy that because of recommendations from K?
I think I'm gonna get a Documera.
Not only recommendations from K, but also the historic value it had.
So
This guy's like a parody of a fucking 4chan alt-righter.
Yeah, it seems like someone. I mean,
playing-
I don't know what sort of reaction he wants to get. He's so like apathetic in his delivery. There's no, I
wait.
mean, at least Colton.
Does he know the gun from Call of Duty first before he? You go to like gun ranges weekly or monthly? Just how much
Weekly
time
sometimes.
do you put into? There's like
There you
you see there's like a Vice 5-minute thing of like most armed dude in America. Yet he owns a gun shop. That's if you want to get arms, open a gun shop. But that seems like if you have any like if you misuse anything anytime at any point, you're kind of like permanently fucked because you're a gun store owner.
Right. And
I
my
want to
grandfather
ask
used to be a gun store
Kaz a
owner.
question. Kaz, how far does your unlimited rights go?
Oh, that's
When
a
you
good-
say how far it goes,
Well, I mean, you
Yeah,
literally
how far does it go?
said people can't do anything that kills anyone, but it's okay for them to have weaponized Ebola and a slew of other shit.
right?
Like, so for instance, right, a tactical nuclear weapon requires
You don't-
anywhere between 50 to 120 people on any given day to maintain. Now, what if me
No,
as
it
an
doesn't.
individual person?
That's
Well,
ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, all up the chain of command, yeah, it's about 50. I looked it up one day. It's about 50 to 70 to 120 people that are involved in the daily upkeep of a tactical nuclear weapon.
Look,
I'm not saying they're all turning the bolts, but right. So, but let's just say
Look,
it's 20 people.
There's that's just silly. There's no actual. You're just talking about bureaucratic like chain of command stuff, right? There,
Sure, I
you can
understand
have a
that.
nuke sitting in your garage and it'll work fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
That doesn't mean that he needs
listen to
that.
me.
That's ridiculous. That's a
Wait a
stupid
second.
argument.
You're interrupting. You're interrupting my point for no problem. I want to figure out how far he'll go with this, right? Because my question is, right? So I can own a tactical nuclear weapon, right now, but I don't know anything about nuclear science. I don't know anything about nuclear engineering. I don't know how
But
to
you
maintain
just
the
tried
thing,
to talk about how
right?
it's maintained.
But I can buy it. right? I can buy it because I got so what happens when simply because I have the ability to buy this thing, I can own it and it fucks up and I don't know how to fix it and a small nuclear detonation happens in the middle of rural Kansas or something like that, and I kill 20,000 people.
Is there? Well, I think the question is there going to be any kind of regulation on like people's ability, for let's say people with an IQ of like 60 owning any of these things? Are there any limitations that, and then also if you put in place limitations, you want enforcement limitations. How are you going to do that?
It's between the property owners.
Oh, it's between
Okay,
the
so
and how are
there's
you going to
no
enforce?
there's
How are
no
you going to
government at
enforce
all
that?
in this situation, right?
There's property
Then the
owners,
United
of
States
course.
government no
Oh,
longer
it's pro-
exists. Is that
Well, but wait a second. All right, I'm a property owner, but I have a lot more money than you because I'm a filthy Jew, right? So I decide that I'm just going to buy everything around you, and because you won't sell me your property, I'm just going to get all my goonies to kill you and rape your wife and take your guns. Now, what are you going to do about it?
You can try, but I'll have...
No, there is no trying. There is no trying. I've already done it. I have more money than you. I have more guns than you. I'm stronger than you. I just did it. What are you going to do? Nothing, because you have no state to protect you from my fucking tyranny.
Actually, to tell you the truth,
Wait,
if
don't
you do
Actually,
hire
what?
mercenaries...
Actually,
Nah.
what? You're a poor
right?
fucking white kid.
She
I'm an
owns Blackwater in this situation. You don't own shit. You just have like, I don't know, whatever you were born with. You weren't born with much.
Yeah, you have you and your little group of friends. I have fucking tanks and F-16s and tactical nukes, and I just fucking decide I want your shit. There's not a damn thing you can do about it because I have more than you.
Right, and you can definitely try to do that. Have you
No,
ever
there
heard
is no
about the rice
trying.
fields of Vietnam, my friend?
There is
Right. He
no trying. I just did
he
it.
has UV goggles and fucking.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Kaz. Like, look, it's not that I can try. I just did it. All right. I came over to your property. I took your shit. I killed you, and I turned your wife into one of my fucking harems. Because I'm a Jew and I gotta have harems.
She has
Right?
missiles
Whoa, whoa,
that
whoa,
have
whoa, whoa! Stop right there.
anti-air
Eating a bitch out and giving a bitch a foot massage ain't even the same fucking thing.
See, you have in your worldview no mechanism by which to defend yourself against a stronger force, and there will always be a stronger force because big fucks small every time.
Even with pink guns.
Even with my pink guns, right? You are weak, I am strong. You are tiny, I am big. I fuck you every time and I take what I want. And because you have destroyed the state and abolished it and gotten rid of any protection to prevent me from taking your shit, you have just basically said, I want more freedom. And that more freedom just got you fucking killed and your wife raped. How does that feel?
That feels like protecting Western values.
More imperialism, right? The only freedom you have is the freedom that you can fucking defend, and you're not big enough to defend your fucking freedom. That's why you have a state do it for you.
Are you suggesting I'm an anarchist, or...
Well, I asked you how far your rights go, and you said they were fucking unlimited. Well, if they're fucking unlimited, what's to prevent me from buying a whole bunch of nukes and just setting them off just because I want to watch the world burn?
Look, I mean, well, okay, yeah, we did roleplay with you. We like set up the scenario. We talked it out, and it seemed like you agreed, like the inevitable conclusion. Somebody has more money than you. They get to, whatever. Is there any mechanism? Is there some kind of like,
Well, you
some
see,
kind of state in this?
I am a national
did ask you.
capitalist, which, yep. I did state before I am a national capitalist. Basically...
What the fuck does that even mean, a national capitalist?
A national capitalist is basically someone who believes in the idea of a pre-World War I economy United States. Now,
That's not even a thing. That's not even a fucking
Well,
thing. You just made
yeah,
that
it
up.
is. Yeah,
the
yeah, it is
economy was
because
basically just producing a huge army so we could fight in the war. But
no. Before that, before we had a Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is just a central bank that decides
Yeah,
this
that's
paper
called
money.
laissez-faire mercantilism, dude. You don't need to invent a new word for it. We've already got plenty to describe it.
Right.
Right, but now you're talking about a state because those states were
Yeah, but
all
state
encompassing
is
and they were
fully-
autocratic.
State is completely, if not very, limited. The only
Limited
thing
in what way? Those states weren't
Got in
limited.
there that's just 24/7 like bow.
That's great.
I thought it was gonna be plague. Fuck.
Well,
like really stoned.
it was playing, but we both left. And we thought that it was going to play, but it stopped playing when everyone leaves.
Chum,
It needs to be like
Tom's
piano
idea
behind
is,
it.
Chum,
Yeah, what?
Tom's idea is, if there's someone that's been a bad boy in the chat, right, instead of muting them and blocking them, you just drop them in this room.
That's such a good idea.
Can you imagine what your team would be?
What if,
It's
what
like
if we just
fucking
have,
Waco.
we could do altar call too. We could have 2 rooms.
Yeah, we need. Okay, we need to bring this to Sam's attention. We need like a bot for like bots for particular music.
Like
It's
3 or 4
possibly
music bots.
it's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's so fucking funny. And I'm not getting bored of it yet. In fact, every time I hear it, it gets funnier.
Okay, the first person that comes in the
I
chat
thought I
is
would
your
stop
exclusive.
laughing at it.
You
and
lock
then
them in here.
I can't stop laughing.
Layla, the first person that comes in says they know how to make music. Put them in here until he makes a song with it.
This could actually make a person go crazy.
I think when JJ comes back eventually, we have to have him in here for a couple of hours to recorrect his behavior. We're gonna need user A to be put in for correction for 4 hours, please.
This is sick.
And the bot would have a functionality where, like, every like interval, it would like leave and rejoin the server or something. Like, so they would reset all like mutes or something on it.
People can't mute it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Imagine
I'm sure
if we
you
had
could
to
make a
mute it.
bot that couldn't be muted somehow.
Couldn't they just turn it down?
Realism hazing service. We'll have to listen to the bot for 10 minutes. Could even 10 minutes.
If you mute it or turn it down, you get banned.
I literally haven't stopped laughing for like 2 minutes off that.
I wonder if there is a way to stop it from being turned down. Just can you take the permission away from the person when they're in the room? So I wonder if there's a way to take the permission away to not mute or not put the volume down. There must be, right?
Oh man, I felt really bad. Oh, what I said to that guy.
Which one?
What did you say?
I got him to say that by Western values, he really means Western European values. But he's fighting for Western European values over here because he wants them to like move here or something. But he doesn't like how they're doing right now, and he won't move there. And he blames why they're not doing well right now. Probably a huge red flag to the immigration.
Someone's gonna come in here and ask why the fuck we're sitting here listening to this bot.
Hey Yuri.
It's like, do you know when you go through training, like in the CIA against torture, against the waterboarding, you have to subject yourself to it for so long that it doesn't faze us, but any other person that witnesses this for enough will fuck off or go insane. Like when you get pepper sprayed when you go in the cops. You just got to learn how to deal with it.
I got an idea. You know that scene from The Walking Dead where Daryl is in that room and they keep playing that song, like, what's that song? They keep playing this one song over and over and over. No. Let me try to find it.
Who changed the name of the room? This is ridiculous.
It's like a classic Schwarzenegger tone to his voice. Like
Tom is pushing it really hard. He feels like it's the birth of a star.
Isn't there a permission where you can't get turned down if you make the bot like a super admin so no one can fuck with it?
I think 24/7 Bow was the best fucking name.
Yeah, but at least his gun's the right color.
All right, you libertarians, you just never think shit out all the way. You got this idea that freedom is like the ultimate thing that humanity is supposed to get, right? Well, what is freedom to you, Kaz? What does freedom really mean to you?
Freedom means that government can't tell me what I can say, do, eat, sleep, shit, piss.
But I
Basically-
can?
No, you can't. Nobody can.
Well, bullshit. Bullshit, I can't.
What makes
Right?
you think
Because you think the only way to achieve freedom is to make the government so small as to fit in your pocket. But as soon as you do that, you remove all the protections that are there to keep me from going 10 inches up your asshole.
Oh.
As Breezy did say, freedom is given to us by God or any creator that you do believe in.
Look,
Well,
short
there's
of
an
God
assumption.
coming down and stopping
Wait a
us
second.
themselves,
Wait a second.
what the
Wait a
fuck's gonna
second.
happen?
God didn't give you freedom.
Yes, he did.
No,
soon
he
as you
did
were born.
not. No, he did not.
Quote some scripture at him.
So wait a minute. All we have to do to falsify that hypothesis is have Kathleen's libertarian overlord hypothetical just take away the guy's freedom.
This guy's
Through his
insane.
might, throw the guy in a fucking 5x7 cell, and then there, God hypothesis disconfirmed.
Look, the Bible goes strictly against that. The Bible says, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's." The Bible talks about subjecting yourself to the authority of the land that you live in.
Yeah, the Bible also says that authorities are created by God to institute his divine purpose and will.
So you attempting to change the status quo is actually going against your God.
The idea of negative, immutable rights and this movement towards freedom, this Lockean idea of freedom, came from the Enlightenment age when theological Christians gave up their theological Christianity and became deists and started asserting that rights were handed down by God. But the only thing that was ever handed down by God was your life. He owns you and he can do whatever the fuck he wants with you, and he puts people in place to run you, to be an authority over you. So, which God are you talking about, mate?
Interesting. Is it like the thought of being submissive to a state is putting yourself in more of a position like being submissive to God?
As the founding fathers did say,
Nation secular.
Can I own human beings, Kaz?
no, you cannot.
Why can't I?
Because anybody who enslaves you are stealing your present.
Who's gonna stop me from owning people, Kaz?
I am.
I have a great idea. What if there's like a really rich person with lots of arms, we form like groups of like people with smaller arms, but there's like a leadership committee of the people who run that. So we'll just call that like the local police. And then like between regions it'd be a good idea for them to like link up so they could be stronger and better at like responding to actual individual situations instead of just like every random person that just decides that they
Right.
want to own like
And we could
whatever
call those
chemical
people the
weapons,
FBI.
bombs, etc. That would be like the
Basically,
state police, and then we
basically
could just
instead
have them
of
between states too. That doesn't
basically
sound
I
like a
do
bad idea.
basically I do believe that there should be limited federal government like what's going on right now. But however, funny.
Yeah, yeah. Kaz, here's the problem, Kaz, is no one gives a fuck what you believe as far as your political opinions go, unless you have the ability to put it into action, implement it, and back it up.
Who muted the bot?
So again, I ask you, in your system, right? Your system is built around pure free market capitalism. Well, I'm a capitalist because I'm a rich fucking Jew, right? So I buy up just all the fucking guns in one area, and then I decide, you know what, I want to own people. How are you going to stop me from owning people?
That's now here's the problem you would be facing. You
You
said
don't
you're
know
a
because
Jew,
you're already
right?
owned by the corporation he works for.
I'm
You said
waiting for the problem.
yes. You said you're a Jew, right?
Yeah, I am.
I believe that people who are Jews should be excluded because the founding fathers did say we should exclude Jews.
Where
Well,
did they
no one,
say that?
no one. Yeah, well, first of all, you're just a conspiracy theorist now, and by the way, no one gives a fuck what you care about because I've got more money than you, so I don't give a damn what the founding fathers said because I live in a free market capitalistic society, so my money talks. So again, I ask you, how are you going to keep me from fucking owning people and turning people into slaves to my own sadistic pleasures?
He's gonna tell you it's bad.
So you say it's
In
a full
virtue
free.
of what?
So you
It's
said it's a
bad.
full. You said it's a full free market capitalism, right? Government doesn't regulate
Well,
it.
I assume that's what you want, right? Unregulated
Yes.
capitalism.
So, in all honesty, vote with your wallet. That type of idea.
Vote with my wallet. Wait a second.
He is
Who the
voting
fuck
with
is
his
voting?
wallet, dumbass.
There's no government. There's no voting.
Well,
There's no
that's just
voting in your
objectivism.
system.
Well, are you Ayn Rand?
Yeah, I thought you said you wanted a libertarian system, like a minarchism. There's no voting. There's no government. There's no
I
elected
never
leaders.
said there is no voting. There is no government. What voting would
Well, then what are you
means,
voting for? What are you
Is it
voting for?
voting
What
sponsored
are you
by
picking leaders
Comcast?
for?
Yeah.
Well, he's implying that what you buy is a vote for the product.
Right,
Yeah,
your dollar
exactly.
is your vote, and guess what? In that situation, Kathleen's hypothetical libertarian bully perfectly works.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Yeah,
if
because
you? What if it's
if
like
that's your
voting?
situation, right? Well, I have more money than you, which means I
Right.
can buy more shit than you, which means my vote counts more than you. So you're just a little fucking proletariat peon, and I'm sitting at the top of the food chain, and I can do whatever the fuck I want to you because you're not strong enough. And if you ever started to become strong, I would just fucking kill you and your family and your family's family. And eventually, doing that enough, no one will fucking come after me because every time they do, I'd kill them too, and their family, and their family's family. And then I'd
So
take their babies and I'd turn them into hamburgers.
All right.
what's stopping me from actually ganging
That's
up with
deep.
other businesses?
Hang on, let him
And from
respond. Say
yes.
that again, Kaz. Go ahead.
So what's stopping me from making a business? And yes, you said you will threaten to kill me because I made a business that threatens you. But however, since there is no government, what is going to stop me? There is no monopoly because
What's
there
the
is no
business?
government.
You're
But
Well,
what
literally
business are you
arguing
making
her
that would
point,
that
right?
would potentially no? Because the idea is you're making the business, not like you're born into a situation. You're not born with much. Okay.
Yes,
Look,
some people are, some people aren't.
we've constructed a scenario that's just gone from tyrannical government to tyrannical citizen, and it's your neighbor.
yeah, and by the way, Kaz, you know, I don't face any issue because, again, right, under your worldview, money talks and bullshit walks. So because I'm starting out with a whole bunch of money and you're not starting out with shit, I already went and bought all the fucking nukes. So if I view you as a threat, I'll just nuke your ass. Or weaponized Ebola, or smallpox, or some other biological agent that I just happen to have sitting around my garage.
Right, and you
Let's
could
just
be
let him respond, okay? I think he understands the hypothetical, Kathleen. Let's just let him respond to the hypothetical. Go ahead, Kaz. Tell us about the thing that you haven't thought out yet.
you do have all these weapons. You do have the weaponized Ebola and the tactical nukes, like you said. But the question would be, yes, you are my neighbor, but if you nuke or you use weaponized Ebola, do you really want, as a businessman or a person that owns land or property, to actually rule over a piece of shit that is full of Ebola, AIDS, and possibly radioactive mixture of Ebola?
Hang on. I think you're. Hang on, Kathleen. Can I take the wheel here for a second?
Yeah,
Had
absolutely.
it grow up.
Absolutely, you
Okay.
can.
So, Kaz, check it out, right? You're assuming that Kathleen has any interest in continued future business with her neighbors. That's not the case, right? Let's just add to the hypothetical and say that her only interests are herself and killing her neighbors. No other interest. She has no interest in survival. This is just something she wants to do.
Right, and people who have property nearby will actually rise up and decide to fight them. It's
No, but
called
in this instance, might makes right because Kathleen is the supreme libertarian dictator with infinite cash flow for arms and everything else.
they still violate the NAP because
Oh,
I don't give a damn.
so
I don't.
cute.
I don't.
Listen to this guy, the NAP. The NAP is
Oh
gonna
my God.
save you.
Look,
it's not
dude,
that the
you're
NAP that's going to
missing.
save
You're
you, it's
missing
a
the
value
point.
system.
No, you're missing the point. I don't give a fuck about your value. This is what Michael was trying to point out. In this hypothetical, I don't give a fuck about your values. I don't give a fuck about your life. I don't give a fuck about anyone's life. The only thing I care about is just blowing shit up and watching the world burn. And because I have enough money to do it, and that's my fancy, I just choose to do it. So I don't give a fuck if I make the entire world a nuclear wasteland. It made me happy.
How do we
Right.
split
and
up
by
all the
Oh,
property?
that is the extent of unlimited freedom, Kath.
How do we split up all the property?
well, you
That's
a
don't
good
because
question,
I
too.
took all the I stole all the property from you. I took it
Well,
by
that's the
force.
Haddon. How
Well,
do you split up the property? Like, what makes something your property?
either by purchasing it or earning it.
Or stealing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stealing,
or
no.
stealing
Yeah, but
it.
this is wait. Everything that you have right now is due to the state. So what happens when you take away the state?
Now, I
You
said
no
I'm gonna be
longer have any property. So how do we get dole out all the fucking space and all the fucking land and all the buildings and everything?
God's not gonna manage your like a God government or something. He just like puts the pieces in place, prevents people from doing
Haddon,
things that are bad.
how are we going
I'm
to split up all the land, all the buildings, all the cash that's there that the state owns right now? How do we split up all that stuff right now?
Yeah, how do you own
there.
anything
There,
without a state
there is
apparatus
a
to
small,
defend your ownership?
very small government. Very small.
There is a very small what?
Wait, so there's actually is a government. So you're not a full anarchist. You're just
I'm just a borderline anarchist.
so there's
So what if
who's the
Wait,
government?
wait. Let's just gauge this. Like, what sort of libertarian is it? Let me ask you a couple of questions, Kaz. Is taxation theft? Yes or no?
Yes,
And
because
are laws violent? Yes or no?
depends upon what kind of laws.
No. Are laws inherently violent?
Not all laws. Some, yes.
What makes a law not violent?
All right. So, what would
All
be
right. What?
so? What makes some laws not violent is basically natural laws. Natural law saying, do you believe that somebody has a right to rape you? No. Then it's against the law to rape someone. Do you think somebody has a right to steal?
How do
from
you
No.
enforce that? How do you enforce
I
that?
think I think I've got the right to steal from you.
Yeah, how do you enforce
Enforcement
my
of the law is the violent, not the fucking law itself, dude.
Yeah, allow
There's
people to
no
own guns.
Dude, like I said, I'm a
Yeah, but you're missing the point, Kaz. You're missing the point. He asked you, are laws violent? You said not all laws. But all laws must be enforced violently. So you can believe that no one has a right to rape someone else, but unless you are willing to enforce that law with the threat or application of violence, the law is meaningless.
That's right. And so to put it another way, Kaz, what you could say is it is the potential that enforcing a law ends in violence and could potentially end in ending somebody's life, that laws are inherently violent. You disagree with that?
Some laws will end up.
Do you disagree with that?
No.
Can you show me any
So
law?
then, and hang on. So therefore, since you sign off on this shit, tell me what it is that makes a law violent and what it is that makes a law not violent inherently. Go.
It depends upon if one law actually has the right to steal your property, take your life, if it chooses to.
No. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter where the rights come from. Just enforcing the laws by the minimal government that you're signing off on, the potential of enforcing those laws could end in the death of somebody or end in violence, right? And it's in virtue of that that laws are inherently violent. This is something you've agreed with, right? Do you want to walk that back now?
I do believe some laws are inherently violent. Yes.
But you keep saying
it makes all laws inherently violent.
Sometimes you have to bring violence to some situations.
Okay, what makes it okay to bring violence to some situations and not? If it's not the potential.
Basically, if you have communists in your society, then you have the right to physically remove them, and also it is your duty.
What the fuck?
This is a left turn, and you're not even answering the question. We're not even getting to. I know you're just like you just can't wait to shovel out some more talking points because you haven't thought this out entirely.
So he just said he's going for thought police. If you're just a communist,
he's gonna violently remove the communists. Hey, Kaz, I'm a socialist. How are you gonna violently remove me?
Depends upon what kind of socialist are you. Are you national socialist or?
So you don't take on the NAB.
Gulags. Guys fully signing on to thought police.
You're literally saying I'm going to
Like, you're a
selectively
fucking
choose
idiot,
when
dude.
to apply the NAB.
Let me
Hey,
guess.
Kaz.
19 years old, white, lives with parents, sucking on the
Kaz,
dole
can I-
of the
Proud
generation
boy.
that came
That's all
before
you
him.
need to know.
Look, you can't say that you're going to selectively apply the NAB. It just all crumbles.
Kaz, can I ask you an honest question, Kaz? All right,
Dude,
there's
he's
no
not a
right or
proud
wrong
boy.
answer here. There's no right or wrong answer here, but have you ever bothered to take any view that you hold and take it to its logical conclusion? Have you ever given your political views any kind of thought other than, all my buddies think it's cool to shout libertarianism, so I'm going to shout libertarianism? Have you ever read or studied anything that would give you any idea that your views hold?
Yes, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Democracy, the God That Failed.
Can you slow that down just a little bit so it's several words instead of one large word?
Yes, Democracy, the God That Failed by Hans Hermann Hoppe, or Reactionary
Is that-
Liberty.
Is that the only book that you've read?
Reactionary Liberty. I've also read Death of the West by Pat
How would you
Buchanan.
set up the government? You're in limited government. How
Dude,
would you
how
set
are you
that
a
up?
proud boy?
Wait, how would you set up the limited government?
There would have to be a constitution. There would have to be some rules just for the government itself. Rome basically back then had several rules just for the
Well,
government and
look,
for the
that's
Senate.
now you're just giving us a history lesson. Those two conditions that you gave are currently in place. The rules has the government has rules for itself. We have a constitution. What's novel
Yes.
about your idea?
I believe that a constitutional is a good idea.
All right, let's.
Constitutional is a good.
So
Wait,
who
hang on.
interprets? Wait, who interprets the Constitution then?
The founders.
The
So the founder.
founders. And
Wait.
what
So the
happens when they
founder.
die?
Wait. So the founders are the government then?
The founders created the Constitution, and the Constitution is the law of the land.
So who interprets the Constitution? You know how the government works, right?
Yeah, surely it's not the case that the government is above the law. I mean, it's under the control of
All
the
right,
law as well.
I want to ask.
Like
I want to
what
ask two
Wait.
questions.
Can we stop trying to ask them different questions and just have them answer one? Who interprets the Constitution?
As Paul was saying, basically the government still has a little bit of what it needs to enforce a law.
When you're
which
saying the government, what is that? Who is that? How do you get the government? Is that people?
governments are instituted among men.
So
What about
where's the
women?
okay? So what's the government though? Is that people?
Yes.
Now what people? All the citizens as a whole, a group of people?
Basically anybody that is either voted in. I also do agree with the idea of monarchy. But
Voted in. So you are a Democrat. I thought you was talking about
Now,
I was really hoping he was going to say white property owning men. I was really hoping he was going to say
I
white
do believe
property
in.
owning.
So wait, you said people are voted in then?
You can vote them in, sure, but however, to vote them in, you
No,
would
I'm
have
asking
to.
you.
I would not say democratically. I would say electorally, similar to the electoral college we have now.
So how do you decide who are the electors that choose the people?
Based on population.
Electorates. Based on, but
How do you-
who are the people that chooses it?
The citizens.
So the
Citizens.
citizens vote for the electorals, and the electorals vote for the candidates.
Yes.
So basically, all you're saying is like what you do different now is just make the electoral college democratic.
No.
So you said.
So what is different then?
So
What
he
is
said
different?
the wrong word. He doesn't. Not democratic. Democratic.
Yeah. Basically, I am a full critic of democracy. I believe in a republic. Basically,
You don't believe in anything. You have no idea what you
Wait,
believe
let him
in. You
let him
have a-
respond. Let him respond. He's laying it out.
because the difference between democracy and republic.
Well, look, people are saying that we're not a democracy either. We're a republic as well. So what are you going to do different?
We're a plutocracy. Oligarchy.
Yeah.
I would say we're an oligarchy, but go ahead.
Yeah,
what would you do different? Well, yeah, but the point is that there's a certain system that we've tried to in place, right? And now you're saying you don't even want the system that we've had.
No, I do believe in electoral college because otherwise California and most of the cities.
No,
would
you don't
decide
believe
if
in electoral college because we don't vote in the electoral college.
Right, the electoral college is the establishment placing like a failsafe your way as the voter. You vote wrong, trademark patent pending. Electoral college nullifies your vote.
But the founding fathers created.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Another history lesson.
Not unelected representatives.
Kaz, let me ask you a question. You seem to really like our Constitution. What part of the Constitution don't you like?
You mean part of the Bill of Rights, or
No, I'm talking about the 29 amendments that we have. Would you get rid of any of them?
the one that says you're not allowed to sell alcohol.
Well, we got rid of that one. We replaced that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So other than the one that we've already replaced, would you get rid of any of them?
So far, none that I can really think of.
Okay, great. Now, let me ask you a question. Do I have the right to walk down Main Street in a bright polka dot hat?
Why wouldn't you?
I'm asking if I do. What part of the Constitution gives me the right to walk down Broad Street in a bright polka dot hat?
First Amendment, freedom of speech.
What part? No, not freedom of speech. Try again.
What the fuck?
This is a trick question, isn't it?
Why would?
Wait, did he say
just
that
allow you
freedom
to
of
wear
speech
a-
lets him walk down the sidewalk with a gun?
No, the
Or
Second
No,
Amendment does.
I asked him what where in the Constitution do I have the right to walk down the street in a bright pink hat, a bright polka dot hat? And he said freedom of speech. I said wrong. Try again.
Oh, it's the hat.
Yeah, hat, not gun.
No,
Is the answer? I'm not sure, but is the answer that it's not in the Constitution?
No, it's freedom of expression.
Yeah, that's
right.
freedom of expression, which is First Amendment.
Which leads me to the next question. do as let's say hypothetically
That
I am
was
the governor
disgusting, Gilmore.
of the state of Vermont. Do I have the right to ban coffee creamer in my state?
No,
Why not?
because that's
Look, there's not offering a.
Hold on. Why do I not have the right to ban coffee creamer in my state?
Do you have a reason why you're banning coffee creamer?
None whatsoever. I just decide I don't like it, so Vermont can no longer use coffee creamer.
Look, the
Where
question isn't
in
whether
the
she has an excuse.
Constitution-
You could just say she doesn't
Where-
fucking like the smell of it, or like it uses
Yeah,
some
yeah.
chemical that she wants to use somewhere else, or any number of bullshit, quasi believable reasons, quote unquote, that she could use.
Yeah, my question is, where in the Constitution does it prevent me from banning coffee creamer in my state?
There is none, but
There is none. Exactly. It doesn't exist. There is no mechanism inside the Constitution preventing me from banning coffee creamer in my state. None whatsoever. So you know what that ought to tell you? The Constitution isn't enough. Because I shouldn't be able, I should not be able to just ban coffee creamer in my state, but there is no constitutional law that says that I can't. You have to use inferential law, and you have to use current and previous rulings by courts to formulate this. And these things always don't come out of the Constitution. So your little government has to be bigger and bigger and bigger.
wait. Hold it right there. You're saying the government has to be bigger, but giving government more power has more rights to actually ban bullshit laws, just like that coffee creamer you were talking about. So when you shouldn't the
Big or small? No. In this instance, the big government prevents me from banning coffee creamer. The little government does not, because the little government only has the 29 amendments. And not even the 14th Amendment prevents me from banning coffee creamer. Let me ask you another question. Do you think felons should have the right to vote while they're in prison?
Absolutely not.
So you don't think immutable rights are unlimited then? Because voting is an immutable right handed down by God.
They lose that right when they do something.
Oh, they lose it. They lose that right.
I thought that rights inherent to the identity of created creatures by the divine creator were unlimited, dumbass.
You are born with rights, but you have your rights taken away when you decide to go out and kill someone.
Wait a second.
Look at him. He worships the state, guys. This fucking libertarian play is just worshiping the fucking
Listen
state.
to what he said.
pretending
God
he's
gives you your
libertarian.
rights, but the state takes it away.
Oh my God.
That is correct.
Oh my
Kaz,
God.
that was just like perfect hook, line, and sinker. That was just like setting up the perfect fucking straight line fastball and knocking it out of the park, Joe Carter style. Fucking grand slam. Thank you.
Kathleen, your testosterone is acting up. Relax.
Yeah, well, I haven't taken my fucking estrogen pills. I haven't taken my estrogen pills tonight, so you know.
You drink soy, so it's about the same thing.
Kaz, so we can lose.
Boy, fucking Brad.
Cat, let Paul ask a question. He hasn't gotten in on this guy. I want to hear what Paul said.
Yeah, sure. Go
Really
ahead,
quick
Paul.
question. Really quick question for you, Kaz. What would stop in a capitalist society businesses conspiring to underpay the workforce and you be at their mercy? And this is not a trick question. I'm just asking that because I don't have a clue.
Who's going to pave the roads?
Funny. To answer Paul's question, basically, you do have a free market society, right? So if, let's say, I mistreat my workers, I decide that I don't give a shit. I'm the only person with the business in the free market. So let's say another person decides that they've had enough. They actually take a risk of making their own business and decide they want to make a business of that same product, and they decide, I want to treat my employees better than my previous boss did. So he has a right to do that, and more people would support him because, hey,
Sorry, you haven't even gotten to this point because Kathleen's already killed you.
And listen,
No, I'm answering Paul's question.
The gauge you need to go by is the consumer. Okay.
Yes.
If you have a product that costs twice as much as a similar product, where's the consumer going to go?
The consumer will go to the cheapest one, but however...
Right, and the cheapest one is the guy that underpays and mistreats his workers.
Exactly.
There are other ways to actually still make a good product for cheap, but without mistreating your workers.
Hey,
Unions.
do you think people turn down iPhones because of all the bad press they get for the way they treat their workers?
Yeah, you do realize that the device that you are talking on right now was probably made by small Chinese slave labor, little 6 and 7-year-old kids.
It's
in
good that
a
kids
sweat
work.
camp, right?
Is that going to make
Builds
you throw away
character.
your iPhone right now and stop paying that company money, or you're going to keep paying the company money like a piece of shit?
Kaz, it just seems to me that you're taking control out of government, who should have your best interests at heart, and putting in control of private companies who only care about money.
I actually kind of went on to the vegan part for a second when I said the piece of shit part, but
Kaz, there might be an
the
answer.
point is that people are still going to pay, even if they're, because your whole argument is going to stem from, well, if they mistreat the workers, people aren't going to work for them, and then people aren't going to go buy their product because of the bad press they'll get from it. Well, we've already have that happening today, where billion-dollar companies who make shit tons of money out their ass are mistreating their workers, got the press for it, but still make all the money.
Yeah, people are fully aware of the iPad, people who put iPads together jump off the top of buildings, and yet they still have iPads. Does that make sense? This is something that runs contradictory to your hypothesis here.
Now, I like to hear what Paul has to say, and then I'll answer your question, okay?
I didn't really have much more to say. Kaz, it just seemed to me that you're taking your welfare out of what should be an impartial body and putting your welfare in the hands of private industry who only cares about one thing, and that's money. That's all the point that I was trying to make. So I'll bow out and let you talk to other people.
So anyway, Michael, as for the bad workplaces within China, yes, China does have piss poor work compensation. But however, without these iPad factories and iPod factories, whatever you want to say, by the way, I'm not Apple. I do hate Apple because their product sucks and it's over.
Well, what do you have? What are you using? What is your phone?
Samsung.
Samsung. Well, Samsung's made in the same fucking way.
Actually, it's made in South Korea.
No. The company is South Korean, mate. They don't build the fucking phone in South Korea. In fact, the majority of the crap that goes into a Samsung Galaxy comes from Malaysia. And you want to know how much they pay people in Malaysia a day?
Hey, break it down even further, Kathleen. Talk about where do they farm the raw materials needed to make those phones.
Right? Fucking the Congo, right? The
Congo.
there's I forget.
Yep, all those
I
gold fucking mines that little kids are working in to make sure.
Yeah, I
little
forget.
computer board that's in any electronic you make. Every single electronic you use has had little kid fingers digging up that fucking gold.
Yep, I forget what the material is, Squishy, but there's a material used in the construction of any computerized thing.
Cobalt.
And
It's
the only
Gold.
well, it's not gold though. Gold is one of them, but there's a material that can that's basically only found in the Congo. Right? It's only found in the Congo. The Congo is the largest provider of this raw material, right? And the Congo is just a fucking anarchist failed state. And she's right. She's absolutely right, Kaz, because do you know who's mining this fucking shit in the Congo? Whoever the fucking Congolese government sends down the fucking mine, and that includes 3- and 4-year-old children with little tiny pickaxes down in these fucking mines so you can have your brand new fancy Samsung.
Tantalum, that's what you're talking about. It's used to make tungsten, tin, and gold. It's needed to use to smelt them.
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
It's tantalum.
Okay,
Where's
so
Colton at?
let me ask you a question. Why are the children in these situations anyway?
Because that's where they fucking live.
Because
they
because
do live
capitalism
there.
requires an oppressed class, an exploited class, in order so that you can have that cell phone and live and feel like you're not the oppressed class.
Okay. So why is this place, this shithole, a shithole?
Because capitalists wanted to mine the fuck out of all the resources.
If it's because of capitalism, so if it's a capitalist government, why aren't there any businesses so far in these places?
Not what he's suggesting. What he's suggesting.
Did you just say there's no businesses in the Congo?
These places were raped by capitalists and left there.
I got a buddy who lives in the Congo right now. He does infrastructure. He makes like $300,000 a year. You know what he is not? He's not a fucking Congolese. He's a South African, right? And he's white. That's why he's making money.
Fucking fantastic. That's what I'm talking about.
Crafty, shut the fuck up.
You think any fucking country or corporation is gonna pay a Congolese child an adequate wage? You've lost your mind. Capitalism requires two things: an oppressed population and unemployment to function.
Okay, so what does socialism require?
We're not talking about socialism right now, but if you want to know what social, look, no. We're not here to defend Cat's worldview, right? We are here to show you that your worldview is absolutely violent, reprehensible, despicable, disgusting, and causes more harm than it has ever done good. And that is the system that you support. You support slave labor. You support gang rape. You support terrorism.
Hold up.
That's what you support.
Where did I say I support gang rape?
Because you support capitalism. You support a fully capitalistic libertarian society, and because of that, you support gang rape and terrorism and war and destruction and famine, unemployment, systematic genocide. That is what your worldview supports.
Are you sure that's not socialism and communism?
No, not at all. That is what your worldview supports, because your worldview requires an oppressed population to create money for the capitalist pig, right? You are the proletariat. You don't have any fucking rights. You don't have any fucking freedom. You get what I give you.
That's in a communist society. Soviet Union, China.
No, sir.
Getting
No, sir.
shit
That
on
is
China, dude.
That is capitalism. You are the working class. You are not a capitalist. You are not a mover and shaker. You are not rich. You are not making any decisions. You punch a clock from 8 to 9, or from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You get a little bit of money, just enough to buy food and a used car, and then I tell you what makes you fucking happy. I tell you what to believe. I tell you what to read. I tell you what to eat. I tell you when to sleep, when to wake up, which direction to drive.
That
I'm
sounds
the
a lot like
capitalist,
communism to me.
not you.
Yeah, it does.
Well, hey, if there's similarities between communism and capitalism, maybe that ought to turn on a fucking light bulb for you that maybe your system isn't as grand as you thought it was.
The only difference is we actually made better living expenses than a communist country.
Really? Really? For who? For who? A couple 100 million people? There's
Yeah,
7
for
billion
the
people that.
for the people who own the means of production, for the people who own all the capital, yeah, they're doing great. But the rest of the world who has to support those people, they're not doing too well, Kaz.
There are 7.3 billion people that live on this planet. Capitalism has made life bearable for about 300 million of them. How is that a good system, Kaz? Because the rest of those people, the rest of the 7 billion people, are living in shit.
Well, look, so I mean, it's just the case
capitalism.
that you can only hold these positions having never left your fucking city, right? Living in your mom's basement as a young white man, right? If you've ever been out of the United States and see how other systems work, right, and how the long arm of the fucking free market when it comes to globalism exploits people across the fucking world. Right. You're gonna come to a realization that the things that you buy have greater impact, and if you're gonna say that your dollar is your vote, right, then buying an iPad means that you support the things that are necessary to produce that product, right? Or am I confused? Is that not your position now, Kaz?
Basically, what I'm trying to say is, now, let's look at some other countries that have been under capitalism. It used.
Oh my God, Kaz!
Hong
No,
Kong.
look, Kaz.
Hong Kong. Look at it.
Kaz, just stop.
1950. It was poor as shit.
You have a
Hong
chance
Kong.
to talk, for goodness sake.
The only reason that Hong Kong exists is because America wants a strategic place in case they need to go fuck China in the ass. That's the only reason Hong Kong exists. It's got nothing to do with capitalism. The only reason they have capitalism
Fucking
is because of
degenerates.
American Navy. All right.
The mercenary
So no,
country.
your fucking your example just doesn't fucking hold water, mate. Outside of the West, outside of America, Canada, Australia, and parts of Europe, the rest of the world is fucking shit. And you know what all the rest of the world does? It feeds the West. It feeds the West, right? And because you support
This sounds
that
like an
system,
amazing system.
yeah, and because you support that system, you support terrorism. Do you want to know why you support terrorism? Because you support a system which creates living conditions that are so deplorable that these people have nothing left to do but strap bombs to their fucking chests and blow you up, because that's the only fucking thing they have left.
Kathleen, let's let somebody else have a go for a second, okay? So, Kaz, this is the implications of your dollar being your vote. Right? Any part of that dollar that goes to underpaid children, or companies that are engaged in child labor, the exploitation of children, that is your vote. Right? That is your vote, according to you. Right. So if you were principled, right? If you were a principled libertarian, then you'd be an anarchist on fucking April 15th or 20th or whatever tax day is. Right? You would not be spending dollars. You'd be paying for things in bitcoins.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What if I am a capitalist? What I say is nationalist. What if I do believe that I do not want my products made in Malaysia, or I do not want my iPad made in China? What would you consider me? I believe in the free market But
a bad businessman under the capital system.
Yeah, a bad businessman, someone who has no understanding of the system they claim to support. That's
But
what I would call you.
you know
I
the
think you should look at American roads and see what cars are on American roads, and look at Detroit and see why it's dead.
Detroit is dead because it mostly votes Democrat. I mean, it's been voting Democrat.
Oh God, get the fuck out of here! Get
Do
the
you know in
fuck
Detroit?
out, mate.
Wait. So that's a
Detroit
claim.
Detroit is dead because Japanese workers get up early in the morning and they work hard.
That's a
Michael wants
claim.
to be
Hang
fair
on.
to him.
Yeah, that's a claim. Kaz, go ahead and support that claim.
Democrats have been voted into Detroit since 1960, and throughout the years it has been deteriorating because they had many housing projects, and because of these housing projects, these houses became empty and they actually rotting quite easily.
Wait. So you're talking about a municipality that has a huge portion, a huge stake in the international markets, right? So surely you're not just talking about local elected officials being causal to this. Surely you're not blaming the Democrats here. Surely you're also blaming the global markets for this, right?
What happened to Detroit is the same thing that happened here in the UK. We built shit cars. We wanted days off. We wanted lots of money for building the shit cars. And Japan came over with good cars that were cheap and fucked us.
Surely you're also blaming the market for that, right, Kaz?
No, I'm actually blaming neoconservatives as well.
Oh my God!
The market
Oh,
itself
my
has
God.
no responsibility.
I mean, it's not like
Can we all speak at the same time over Michael?
Hang on just a second, guys. Hang on. So you're saying that neocons and the Democrats that are elected locally are to blame for it, even though a large portion of its economy is dependent on the global market. So the people who are having contracts with these businesses internationally, like interstate commerce, international commerce, these people that are on the receiving end of exploiting Detroit's labor, they're not to blame. It's the Democrats that people in Detroit vote in. It's their fault, and it's the neocons' fault, right?
Yes, because we're too dependent upon the global market.
So tell me how they, given this, tell me what it is that doesn't make the people who are benefiting from the downfall of Detroit's labor morally culpable or economically culpable for the economic situation that Detroit's in. What's the argument for that?
Higher taxes, more government control.
You might as well just say apple and chair. I want an argument. Do you know what an argument is?
Basically, the problem is this. Neocons and Democrats have worked together for years to actually bring America to depend more upon the world. America already has natural resources.
Can you answer my fucking question? Or
I
are you
am
just gonna
answering your
duck
fucking
it?
question.
Yeah, go ahead and present the argument then.
The argument is simple. Many of these Democrats and neoconservatives are actually secretly Stasserists.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh
So
God.
this is an argument? This is an argument because I'm looking for premises to guarantee a conclusion. That's an argument. Do you have an argument or not? I don't want any more of your talking points, Kaz. I want a fucking argument for your claim.
This is so ineffective, Michael.
You mean the claim that Democrats have been
dude,
ruling Democrats for multiple years?
It's okay if you don't have an argument. But let me just remind you about the claim that you're supporting here. That the people who are benefiting from the exploitation of labor in Detroit are not culpable. They're not. They don't have any culpability in Detroit's current economic situation in comparison, or that their culpability is less than those elected Democrats and neocons that you're talking about. So what's the fucking argument for that?
Democrats have actually been passing more laws for welfare, more unions that are subsidized by the government.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude, none of
This
this
is
is an
true.
answer.
Can you actually
It's
prove
not
that?
an answer.
Can you
It's
actually
not a
prove that the
fucking
welfare
answer.
or any of these things have actually made Detroit what it is right now, rather than the lack of jobs?
The lack of jobs are because of too much taxation.
Hey, Kaz, do you know what the freest nation on earth is right now?
Switzerland.
Do you know what the country is in Europe with the highest tax rate and the most regulations?
Norway.
No. Close, but no.
Sweden.
No.
Yeah, sweet.
The freest nations are the ones with the highest tax efficiency, dumbass. That's the end of the question.
Right, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not Switzerland, it is Sweden. He got that
No,
right,
you
right?
don't.
You got that wrong.
Look. You don't even
And look
need
at
that
Sweden
though.
right
Just
now.
look.
50
Look.
no-go
It's
zones
just
and stuff.
look. If you're so interested in correlation, dumbass, you don't even need to look at the first place. Just look at the first 5. The freest nations in the world have some of the highest tax efficiencies of any nation in the Western world.
Yep. And they're the freest. They have the most freedoms. In fact, the United States is nowhere near it. The United States is in 17th place right now.
Okay, so which of the high taxes are preventing jobs from growing up in Detroit? Which of the things? The income tax, the sales tax.
Yeah,
What?
I like where Miak is going. I hope I'm pronouncing.
I mean, like
right,
the
but I like
specific
where
thing.
he's
It can't
going
be
with
the
this.
income tax, right? Because the income tax is below the peak of the Laffer curve, so it can't be the income tax. So it must be the sales tax, right?
Kaz, you're awful silent over there.
Well, I don't think Kaz knows what he's talking about.
Well, of course not. But that's the point of the question, right? Surely it
So,
doesn't have
okay.
anything to do with international markets because it's all fucking local, right? Kaz?
Well, and the other thing
Okay,
is
so
Kaz
let me
isn't
get
a very
started.
good. Hold on real quick. Kaz, you don't seem to be a very good capitalist, right? Because if I was making a car in Detroit and it cost me $10,000 to make the car, and the average selling price was $15,000, but then I could go down to Mexico and make the same car for $5,000 and still sell it for $15,000. Why shouldn't I go down to Mexico and make the car for $5,000 and make $10,000 instead of 5? Why shouldn't I do that? Isn't that good business practice? Isn't that good
No,
capitalism?
because no, that's not good capitalism.
Why have they done it
Why
already?
is it not good capitalism?
Why is that not good capitalism?
Capitalism
What do you
is
think
the
capitalism
voluntary.
is?
Capitalism is
Let
the
him answer the
voluntary.
question now, okay?
Capitalism is the voluntary exchange between two parties, two consenting.
No. No.
It is the voluntary
No.
exchange between
Wait.
one's
So
labor and one's
look,
time.
we'll grant it, right? We'll grant that voluntary association economically is the definition of capitalism that you're working with, right? Kathleen just asked you a question, right? Why wouldn't it be advantageous for the capitalist to go down to Mexico to do that? Why wouldn't it be advantageous for the capitalist in that instance?
While you're thinking of that, Kaz, let me give you an example. I bought a Jeep Cherokee thinking I was buying an American Jeep. Every part on it has assembled in Mexico written.
It's still an American Jeep though, because Jeep.
Basically,
Fuck yeah.
basically what you're doing is you're taking away the jobs from the American people.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares though? Look, dude, just
Capitalism doesn't care about you.
look.
It
This
cares
is
about
just
money.
ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. You're working with assumptions here. Like people give a fuck about.
I mean, the worst
right?
part about that argument though is like trade net brings jobs, and like a large part of jobs like in the past few years have been because of increased trade, and they've been higher income jobs.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? But what this guy fails to realize is that for some reason he is thinking capitalism is a system to create national welfare. And it's not. The purpose of capitalism is to turn the highest profit possible for shareholders. Because the only people that matter in a capitalist system, the only people that matter to a business outside of its consumers are its shareholders. And if I can sell my consumers a car made in Mexico and they pay the same price, as opposed to a car made in Detroit, and I can make 5,000 more bucks for my shareholders, I have been a good little capitalist, and I make more money. and my business grows. And guess what? Eventually it gets a little bit too expensive in Mexico. So I ship my shit out of Mexico and I send it to China. Well, China's getting pretty big right now. So I'm going to ship my shit out of China and send it to Vietnam or Malaysia. And
Hey
eventually it
guys,
will end up in Africa.
guys, we're loading this guy up with like 10 questions. And
I mean, I kind of
expecting-
just wanted to answer my original set of questions.
That's what let's just focus on a single question. This
Yeah,
guy
can we
is,
just go back to the Detroit conversation?
exactly. Thank you, Miak. Now, what was your question, Miak, so that
Oh,
Kaz can
so
answer?
which of the taxes is preventing the jobs from coming back? Is it the income tax, the sales tax, or what set of tax?
Income tax, property tax,
Okay.
and sales tax.
Okay, so I don't know how you would prove that Detroit's income tax, like the net income tax that people receive in Detroit, is what's preventing the jobs from coming back because it's below the Laffer curve. So I don't know how you would go about proving that. Do you have proof that that's the cause? I mean, like, if it's something you saw in passing, I'll even take that.
Yeah, see on pass. See on
Like, you remember seeing like a paper somewhere that said such and such corporate tax rate in Detroit led to lack of jobs or something like that. If you saw something in passing, I would take that. I would go look for it.
Back in the 90s, I do believe that the Detroit paper did say that a lot of jobs were actually being shipped out from Detroit.
No. We're not asking you what the paper is. We're asking you for the proof.
I mean, like, specifically the thing that you're referring to would be because the market changed, it went to a different country. That has nothing to do with, like, the income tax.
Well, of course, if you had a company and you had a lot of these taxes and then you saw another country that had less taxes or less regulation to it, wouldn't you actually send it over there?
Okay, so do you think Japan has, like, let me actually go check this.
I think the biggest car makers in the world.
Also, I don't even know how that would work because the company doesn't pay the income tax. So this is one of the even more reason why I don't know why this would make sense.
Well, and also you got to look at Honda too. Honda is actually not made in Japan anymore. It's made in the United States. Why do you think they went from Japan to the United
They're
States?
actually made all over the world. We've got Honda factories here in the UK as well.
Yep. Because
Okay, I want to know why you think the income tax is a reason why jobs left Detroit, because the companies themselves don't even pay the income tax.
Because income tax does. What do you mean? They don't
Companies
have to pay
do
income
not
tax.
pay the income tax. Employees pay the income tax.
Right, so they would have to be paid more.
No, they could be paid
tax.
exactly the same. They would just have higher taxes. Because they'd be relative.
Basically, if taxes were not imposed on manufacturing, just like Derp here says, it would actually thrive. Is there standing in the way?
Jesus Christ, dude. Can we just stick to one fucking claim at a time, guy? Look, Miak brought us home, right, with this one fucking question, and you can't answer it? You can't stay on track? Dude, stop downloading talking points and just stay on topic.
I mean, once you've downloaded the talking points, I don't know if you can leave them. I think you're asking for a little much.
Well,
It's just ridiculous.
But at this point, right, like what he's basically saying, like if we lower income tax or corporate taxes and things like that, right, that I assume what his point is that if we, like, say, lowered the corporate tax to a very low level, that these businesses would just come flying back, right? But you do realize that even before Trump took office, America had the lowest corporate tax rate of any Western society.
No, it has the lowest, like, it has one of the lowest official rates, but like the actual effective rate is actually abnormally high. It's like the third highest.
So America is very different than Europe in the way it applies corporate taxes. See, where Europe taxes corporations based on their earnings, America only taxes corporations based on their profits. So even though we had a technically higher corporate tax rate, the only thing that was taxed
Effectively
was the profits,
lowest.
right? So now we have lowered our corporate tax rate even lower, and it's still only on profits.
Look,
And yet these businesses aren't coming back. Where are they?
Oh,
They're
because
already.
there's no actual correlation between corporate income taxes and GDP growth, and there's actually a stronger correlation with having like above 1 to like I think it's 7% income taxes actually improving GDP growth. Corporate income taxes, to be clear.
Look, I'm a high tax person, right? Like I think high taxes are fucking phenomenal. But you know, I guess at this point, what I can't understand is why is this guy even trying to defend these positions? Why
Because
is he
he's a
not in this group?
child, because he's never thought about these things, Kathleen. This is what libertarians are, for the most part. I've met, like, out of maybe 100, there's probably like
communists
4 or
are
5
not really
libertarians
chosen
that know what
either.
the fuck that they're talking about and can actually demonstrate the claims that they make, right? And for those 4 or 5 libertarians that can demonstrate those claims, I have a lot of respect. But the other fucking 90 some odd people that you're dealing with, for, you know, probability wise, when you're talking to libertarians, they're just children. They've never thought about these ideas.
Well,
They're
and you
good
communists have
for
not.
5 sentences on any one topic.
Here's also something I would like to ask you the same thing. Communism has never really worked, but yet some people still make the claim that it could.
I mean, like, this has nothing to do with anything that I've said to you because I am a capitalist. I just don't support libertarianism because it doesn't work.
I think everybody realizes that libertarianism is sort of a phase for like.
I mean, like, the only
young
examples
contrarian.
libertarians can ever point to are like literally tax havens. I think that should give some indication to people.
Well,
out of curiosity,
Miak,
how old are you? How old are you, dude? Libertarian, dude.
I do not have to tell you.
Just
well,
volunteer
that
it, then.
answers. Yeah, that answers your question. Hey, Miak, you know what surprises me about libertarian people like this is that they actually do have one shining example to point to, and they never fucking do it. See, all you have to do to show a working model for your ideas is point to Montedragon. But you don't even know what fucking Montedragon is because you've never done any fucking research on your own ideas.
What the hell is Montedragon?
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, I want to know. I'm curious. I don't know what this is.
Montedragon is, and I don't always pronounce it correct. But
You
I
mean
pronounce
Mondragon?
It Montedragon, yeah, whatever. It's a functional anarcho-syndicalist city, a fairly large one, and it functions in basically an anarcho-syndicalist manner, right? It's basically full-on libertarianism, and it fucking works there. But the libertarians never point there because that fucking system isn't true libertarianism. This is like, you know, the no true Scotsman argument, right? It's the same thing with fucking communism, right? I can point to 6 socialist countries right now that function fucking amazingly, but oh, that's not true socialism.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, look, it's
hearing, like,
just
buzzwords and talking.
it's just
Oh,
uninteresting
he
to
definitely-
say. It's just uninteresting to say that libertarian political philosophy could be really successful in areas where there is a distribution of resources and economic trade that would facilitate the sort of voluntarism that Kaz is espousing, right? But we're asking about global markets, and this guy's going to fucking defend the exploitation of labor in Detroit, right? It's just impossible from a
The guy
libertarian point of view.
deafened, by the way, Michael. He's not
No,
listening.
I know he did, but I'm just showing. I just want everybody just to take a snapshot here because Miak really he held the guy. It was like a pit bull on the guy's arm on this point. You cannot say or blame local policies and elected officials for what was fucking going on there because it was so wrapped up in international commerce.
I mean, like, the like outside of like Republicans bringing up the Detroit was ruined by Democrats meme, like it's pretty much almost undisputed that the cause of the situation in Detroit is lack of labor mobility. The people in Detroit are not able to just move to a different market and move to another set of jobs, so it ended up the way it is because the car jobs went somewhere else because they weren't educated and other stuff like that.
Well, this has been fun picking on a libertarian because it's so easy, but my phone's about to die, so I will talk to you guys later.
Aw, sorry to hear that. Take care.
Night.
I think
Michael,
next
Kurt
we should
just
talk
said in
about
a